Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Pride Month. Welcome to the Sunday service at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Amherst. I'm Amy Malachowski, and yesterday Reverend Michelle told me I'm the best. So in case you were wondering, just kidding, you're all the best for being here today, whether in the sanctuary or online. If this is your first time visiting, please return in the future so you can hear the beautiful voice of our minister, Reverend Michelle Buhite, who today has seasonal laryngitis and will be speaking up when riled. The flowers throughout the building are from yesterday's memorial service in honor of UU Amherst member Reverend John Rex. For those gathered in the chapel, I urge you to actually turn off your phone completely to free up bandwidth for the live stream. Our Wi-Fi is wobbly, so is my voice, and we want our online community to have as full an experience as possible. If you need a little extra hearing support, we have assisted hearing devices at the usher station at the back of the chapel. Feel free to borrow one for the service. It will not be a bother. Our gathering music today can be found in the Teal Hymnal 1010, We Give Thanks. We'll sing it twice through as a call and return, which means that I sing a phrase and then you sing the phrase with me or without me. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing. For this precious day, for all gathered here, and those far away, for this time we share, with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. One more time. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here, and those far away, for this time we share, with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Sorry for when I led you astray. You may be seated.
We move from a time of welcoming into centering as we employ the elements of water and fire to create the sacred space where we can be fully present. Before the Miles family comes forward to assist in this ritual, I want to share some thoughts with you. Last weekend, I had the privilege of attending a conference on spiritual direction, and one of our presenters was the Indigenous DNA activist and wise woman, Pat McCabe. She began her presentation with an acknowledgement of the four cardinal directions, east, south, west, and north. And after we were seated again, Pat began to speak about land acknowledgements and how it was important to understand that we cannot acknowledge the land without entering into an intimate relationship with place. In fact, she described it as getting in the middle of this amazing love affair between the earth and her people. And as we try to acknowledge the land, we're like trying to get between these people who just really love each other a whole lot. And so that was a different perspective to begin with. Then she said that the right beginning to that relationship is in connection with the people who, with their ancestors, have been intimate with the land with an enduring sense of place for 50,000 years. As I listened to Pat speak, the word that rang in my heart was covenant. We know covenant. We know that covenants are sacred promises made freely and held in sacred trust. So what if we were to forge a covenant with the land where we find ourselves, but also this larger land situated between the Niagara and Chautauqua escarpments, a land rich in the gifts of nature to sustain us? What if we entered into relationship with the people whose ancestors understood this place's sacredness? Those are not questions that we can answer today, and perhaps you're thinking, well, we've already kind of talked about that, Reverend Michelle. Yes, and we need to keep talking about it, and then start feeling it. It's easy for Unitarian Universalists in particular, but I think probably for a lot of humans, to really understand things above our eyebrows, but it's when we understand it in our bodies that something really incredible happens. So these are not questions that we can answer today as if we were scribbling answers on a geography test. They are prompts and challenges for us to join in respectful relations with this land as not just the dirt that we love and plant things in and take care of, but as a living being and with its people. And now, Miles family, please come forward. I hope y'all can see Quinn's shoes. They're radiant. Oh, we don't have, you would like some fire. You have time to practice while we're doing water. Okay, so we start with water while we get some fire called into the space. So we offer a libation, water that is as sacred, I see that you did it, as the land it is meant to bless. We may not be able to heal the harm done to generations of people who lived in rhythm with the land and its cycles, but we can make a beginning. May we have the courage and the heart to make such a beginning. All right, I'm going to have to bring out the big guns, aren't I? The blowtorch thing. Oh, phew. Okay. If what we did was just to create a covenant with the land, and the land beneath our feet, the people whose ancestors lived in balance with it, then the weekly lighting of a chalice is also a covenant and a reaffirmation as we covenant with this faith and those whose lives have brought us to this place, as well as all those who will carry our light forward, making it their own and letting it shine. I invite you to join me in our covenant, chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. It's funny how things sort of cascade. There's no fire, suddenly Michelle can't read words. It's all good. And now, having covenanted with the land, the people, and our faith, I wonder if we are ready to extend our sacred promise to one another. The covenant that we share was created over the course of our first year together, when I arrived back in 2015. It took a whole program year, or academic year, depending how you find time, and it began with conversation groups And then we began weaving words in combination until we could express the longing that we carried in our hearts. And so I invite you to share this covenant with me. Together we promise to gather in compassionate community, to celebrate diversity of thought and unity of spirit, and to seek wholeness for ourselves, our children, and our world. Each week, we are invited to participate fully in this congregation, some of us more fully and vocally than others, and I love every bit of it. You got to know that, especially since some of them are my grandchildren. But we bring ourselves into this sacred time to lay down, if just for a moment, whatever burdens we are carrying, or to share, if even non-verbally, a joy that is filling our hearts. And we do that as we weave together a community. The ritual that we engage in to do this is to come forward and to place a stone or a shell on the table labyrinth up front that represents all that we bring, and knowing that there are some folks among us who might want to be just in a little more uncongested space or not be in a place where their faces are on video. There is an adorable small labyrinth at the back near the candle table that you can also participate in this. And another way to participate is to stay right in your place and just feel how this community is created and help to hold what I call the rim of the circle. So all of us, whether we come up and come forward or go to the back or remain seated, we are all participating in this moment of creation. So as the music plays, come forward as you will. And I place a final stone on the labyrinth in honor of all those joys, concerns, and sorrows that are represented by our online community. Know that you are held in this space. Let's share a few breaths together. Did you even know you were holding your breath? And as you breathe, let's expand our circle of concern out beyond our walls, out beyond the trees. And we include those who may not be present, but whose presence we deeply feel. We bring into our circle of love and care all those who are mourning, who are in sorrow, those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who are feeling overwhelmed and lost, and those who have been wronged. May we remember that we are called to bring healing and wholeness to the broken places. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. You'll find our meditation hymn in the Teal Hymnal, number 1012. The words will also be projected up front, and you remain seated, please, as we sing. So the first part of the Wonder Box was wondering where I put the other microphone. So kids, come on up. Oh, yeah, Cece doesn't need any extra encouragement. I know Miss Candace is going to read us a story. And are you on? Have you flicked this on? No. Boopity boop.
I don't know these things.
Now you do.
Good
I'm gonna
morning,
watch too.
everyone. We're going to read one of Evelyn's favorite stories this morning. It's called My First Ponytail. One spring day, a baby boy was born. Sorry, I already read this wrong. One spring day, a baby was born. The doctor said, "It's a boy." But this would be a lesson in not judging a book by its cover. As the baby grew, so did their love for dolls, unicorns, and anything pink or purple. They didn't care for monster trucks like Big Brother was playing with. When they looked in the mirror each day, they didn't see the long, flowy hair like Mom's, or the hair they had dreamed of, just a short haircut like Dad's. One morning, this brave little one looked at their mom and dad and said, "I am a girl, not a boy." They couldn't be more proud of her.
I'm a girl.
Her parents had always told Stephanie that they loved her no matter what, and now she truly felt that. It wasn't long after her mommy gave birth to her brother Peter, Stephanie thought, he can take my place at the barber shop. After years of monthly haircuts with Daddy and Big Brother Jack, Stephanie asked to grow out her blonde curls. She wanted pretty little bows in her hair. Luckily for Stephanie, she had Funkle Craig and Funkle Mike, who loved wigs. Her eyes glistened when they placed a long blonde wig on her head one day. Stephanie's friends from school showed her different types of hairstyles they liked their moms to do on them. One day, she knew she would be able to join in the fun. Stephanie had a play date with her friends one afternoon. She knew she would be running around the playground and didn't want her hair to be in her face. Her mom grabbed a hairbrush and a pretty bow to match Stephanie's outfit. Smiling, Mom began to brush her hair. Stephanie's confidence began to emerge more and more. Stephanie's mom was able to put her hair up in her very first ponytail. She now saw her true self looking back at her for the first time ever. As she proudly looked in the mirror, she said aloud the affirmations she had been told for years. You are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. The end.
What a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you, Miss Candace. So this means that the children, all the rest of you adults have to stay in the space, but they are going to have the best time. I had a chance to see their activity. Y'all are going to have some serious fun. Let's sing them out. I hope you watch them as they come and go, because it's just the best part of my day. Okay. So, as you know, it's Pride season in Buffalo and throughout the country. Some southern states pushed their Pride recognition back to early fall to reduce the issues of heat exhaustion and the very real threat of heat stroke. Now, that might seem like a small difference, June or September, depending on the climate, but it was not an easy decision, at least for one community in the southern states, to move from June to September. Because, June is Pride Month. September is back to school sales, right? So Les and I were living in South Carolina when the Pride festivities, in Spartanburg at least, were moved to September. And I can tell you, September was hot enough. We'd have been low country boiled dinners in June. So what does that have to do with today's service? Well, we're going to notice and celebrate differences. Sometimes differences are created by decisions that we make that protect those we love, like deciding that June in South Carolina is a challenging time to be out walking in a parade. Quite often those differences and decisions are fraught as we battle but we've always done it this way, demon. Yes, I said it, demon. That phrase, if you ever want to watch Reverend Michelle melt down like the Wicked Witch getting the water pushed on her, the Wizard of Oz, just use that, don't use that phrase. Please don't use that phrase. Nothing can stop a productive idea, a productive conversation, something spectacularly and sparkly new, like, well, we've always done it that way, or its twin, we tried that once, it didn't work. If you want to be able to squash difference, those are two very, very disheartening phrases. So today we are celebrating differences. So we're going to play a tiny little game. I invite you to participate. It requires raising a hand. If that is difficult for you, then don't raise your hand. You can nod or shake your head. So raise your hand if your religion or your thoughts about God, those thoughts today, are different than they were 10 years ago. Raise your hand if that's true for you. Very nice. Raise your hand if you have changed your mind at least once in the last 2 weeks about anything, not necessarily your religion, just like change your mind. I'm going to wear blue. No, I don't want to wear the blue. Thank you. Very nice. Sometimes these questions are like really baseline. Raise your hand if you were born before 1960. Okay, please look around, see who's in the room. Very nice. You can put your hands down. Please raise your hand if you were born between 1960 and 1980. Okay, hope you're looking around. Raise your hand if you were born in between 1980 and 2000. Look around. Okay, so even the 2000s, these weren't necessarily born in the 21st century. I know that's disturbing, and the math around how they decide these things is really past me. But raise your hand. You might not be in the room anymore, but raise your hand if you were born in the 21st century. Woohoo, thank you. I'll leave the keys for you. It's all up to you now. Sometimes we treat our younger people like that. It's like, phew, someone to do all the heavy lifting. Bye. We're not going to do that. Raise your hand if you know that party line means more than political alignment. Yeah, for those of you who are completely mystified, so back in the olden days, there would be like one, I don't even know how it worked because I was just a kid, but you didn't have your own personal phone line in your house. It was a party line, which meant you could sometimes hear some pretty interesting conversations when you picked up the phone to make a call and someone was already talking to somebody else. And then you could either stay on, and that's naughty, or you had to put it down really softly so that the click of the receiver didn't stop their conversation. But yeah, you had to wait your turn until you could make a phone call. What madness. How many of you have cell phones either with you or that you own? Yeah, that's why, because there were party lines once, and that's why we have cell phones. I just made that up. So there are differences in the room, right? There are differences, and I won't ask you to raise your hand on these until I change my mind and do, because pretty soon you're going to do some talking. I decided that before my voice decided to be a little wobbly, so put on your hard hats. But some of the differences, I mean, clearly there are differences that are sort of politically driven. They're not necessarily empathetically driven, and we can leave some of those to the side. There are differences like those who are animal guardians and those who have animal-free homes. And both groups usually have some pretty passionate reasons about why they belong to one or the other group. Your music tastes might be wildly different. Yeah, there are stations I just can't do on the radio. So I have a story that I tell myself. In airports, I noticed that all the music is from like the mid-'70s to the end of the '80s. And then I think, oh, it's because that's the coolest music. And then I wonder, are they like playing to the crowd, like the people that are here are my age, and they're playing to the crowd? But then I think back, were they playing the music of my parents' generation when my parents were getting on airplanes? I don't think so. So I think it's just because it's the best music. See, yeah. Oh, you can start a fight this way. This is awesome. Another way to start a fight is between those who have a fully plant-based diet and those that might be omnivores. You want to see some serious potluck fighting? Those are some differences that we need to celebrate because they can really divide friends. Spenders versus savers. I don't even know what that sentence means. So probably the savers among you do know the difference. Okay. So maybe you're feeling surprised at some of the answers, looking around the room, who's here. I thought everyone was just like me, but they were not. And that might be a source of alarm. It could be a source of deep comfort. Today we have gathered to celebrate difference. So we celebrate one of the things that we as a congregation try to live into all year round is celebrating diversity, and not just celebrating folks' diversity, but lifting it up and advocating and being a welcoming place for all kinds of diversity. Sometimes our differences are in comparison to others, and that's a very human trait, right? Like, oh, I have to know if you're like me or not like me, and that goes back, that's like in our bones. But we can work on that, right? Because what kept us safe from, say, saber-toothed tigers, did humans live with saber-toothed tigers? I'm really bad at that. Let's just agree that they did. Okay, good. So I'm going to ask you some questions because I know that many of you, all of you, have done reflective work on yourselves, on understanding who you are, understanding who others are, socially, familially, religiously, or spiritually. So, I have a microphone. I'm a festival of microphones right now. And just in case you don't play nice, I have Amy on hand with questions that we didn't get to on the question box day. So one way or the, and I won't necessarily be the one answering them. So this is going to be more fun for me than I ever get to have. So I'm assuming that your theology has changed. Even if you were raised in a UU context, Unitarian Universalism has changed. So I hope that some of your theology has changed. But if you came from other places or from no place, meaning like not a organized religion, how has your theology, your understanding of that which is of ultimate importance, okay? So let's put that in a context, that which is of ultimate importance. Not necessarily, well, it can include you, but it's not exclusive to you. That which is of ultimate importance to me, that which is of ultimate importance. I had to change my voice there. How has that, I'm assuming that it has changed for you. And I have the microphone, and I will come to you. Should I have started with an easier one? Okay. I know, that I'm registering surprise on my face. I'm glad, Susan.
I was raised to believe that there was God. And I've come to believe that God seems to be a figment of man's need or fear or a need for someone to talk to or be with when they're afraid or they're feeling helpless. So, but I'm in the middle of that.
Hold that closer to your mic.
I'm in the middle of that right now. I believe that there is a higher spirit in the world. And so I'm journeying toward that place.
Thank you. So, okay. See, you opened the door. Oh, I could stay back here where the kids get to play. This is so cool. Okay. Taylor.
So, like Sue, raised to believe that God is a higher being, and now there's a higher power, but not necessarily one person. And I think a biggest change for me is that being or that spirit that connects us does not require perfection or a set of rules that have to be subscribed to. It is just asking yourself in the moment, what is the best thing that I can do for the community and myself, and find that balance.
Thank you. I'm going to do a quick raising of hands. And I will get you next, Pat. It's because this is on. I don't know why. How many of you would say that you have the perfectionism gene? Yeah, and perfectionism, you know, it feels like it should be a good thing, but it can be really complicated. And when we think that God is demanding perfection of us, ooh, that's rough.
I was brought up a Catholic, and I went to 15 years of a Catholic school, and it wasn't until I got married that I knew Protestants. And I came here through my ex-husband, and I asked them, the people here, lots of questions. And after about a year going to Mass and coming here, I became a Unitarian, and I decided to live by my conscience and not to do what's best personally for me, but for the whole entire consciousness thing. So that's how I do things now.
Can I put you on the spot, Pat? Because you used a phrase with me a couple weeks ago at the question box serve, and that something about your conscience, and it is a harder thing.
Because it's always fun to do things that you enjoy and go out and be entertained. But if you live by your conscience, you don't do that. You do what you feel is best for everything involved, yourself, your friends, family. And sometimes I don't do that, but I feel bad.
And that's your conscience, right?
I was I was brought up as a very strict atheist, and we weren't allowed to join Bluebirds or Girl Scouts because you had to have a religion. And I stepped into this church, and if they had said God at that time, I think I would have had to walk out. But my beliefs have so changed that now for me, there is something beyond. And it was not, being an atheist was that there was nothing else but you. And there's community, there's everything. I am an earthling, and so is the tree out there, so is the fly buzzing around, and it's all that is.
That's one of my favorite phrases, is about being, I'm an earthling. And I will get you next over there.
I was brought up as very strict Catholic and was a part of that religion until I went to Rome. And I was so sickened by the wealth and how they treated people that I said I would never be a Catholic again. And then I did nothing until I came here. And the one thing I love about this community, and I have a plaque now on my bookcase that says, open minds, open hearts. And that's what this brings to me, is just openness and love.
Thank you for that. Open minds, open hearts, and helping hands. I can't even remember it. And I'll get you next, Kim Diana.
So I grew up very strict Mormon, and it's been 10 years, and it took a long time to let go of a lot of guilt of not following the super strictness. And it wasn't until I finally let go of all that guilt that I could actually be more spiritual for me, and to find what spiritual means for me, and that maybe there is a God, maybe there's not, but that doesn't stop me from being a good person, because why do we need a God to tell us to be a good person? Because I think it doesn't matter anyway. And it's been a long journey and still going, but it has changed so much.
Yeah, great, thank you. Kim Diana, did I see your hand? Yeah.
So this is very confused thought, but it's important because it answers your question, which is I grew up raised in a family that there was a Catholic dad and an Episcopal, so we went mostly to Episcopal church, but mostly just on holidays. But I went to certain camps and stuff, and so one of the songs was "Where True Love Is, God Himself Is There." So it's like, and so I remember that song, and so in the past couple of years, as we've been discussing the changes to the UU bylaws and the concept of centering love, when I've been really thinking about it and thinking about how to take these new values and concretize them and actually act out them, and the stuff that's easy for me. I'm a lawyer and I do work on behalf of access to justice, so justice I can do and other things I can do, but like centering love. But I think back to that fundamental thing from when I was little, of God Himself is there. And of course, there's no Him, and I redefined God, but I still think the centering of that calls back to something which was authentic in my childhood and is renewed in the centering that happens in this community and in this larger faith.
Thank you. Is it the Ubi Caritas? Ubi Caritas et amor. That's in our chill hymnal, by the way. Sure. Well, and I walked around, so, you know.
And I don't know how this fits in with what everybody else has said. I guess there's a lot of disaffected Catholics here, right? And I was raised Catholic. I even taught religion. And I think that the Speaker of the House currently, what the heck's his name? Johnson, yeah. He said that if you want to understand me, read the front Bible from front to back. So since I was teaching religion, it was supposed to be about the New Testament, I figured I'd better read the Bible from front to back. And I don't know what he sees in it, but the main thing that I didn't like in the Bible is God presenting Himself as an angry God. And Sodom and Gomorrah, he destroys the cities, and what about the kids? Kids that didn't do anything wrong. So I guess that's it. I had to say something.
Okay. Thank you. Well, and that's sort of a regional thing, because the Catholic part, because the Buffalo area, it's a very Catholic community, right? Or it has been historically. Where I've lived other places, people were filling in the blank with other former traditions that no longer fit. And I don't think, and I'm going to speak from personal experience, I've often described my own faith journey as I did not wake up one morning and say, like a piece of clothing, well, this no longer fits. I'll just set it down. I might give it to somebody else. If changing your religion was that easy, I don't even know what the rest of that syllogism should be. But it's not, I'll just say it for me, it was a really difficult process. And I'm not at the end point. I've been on this journey of, I was going to say rebuilding, but that's not quite the words, of wider exploration, we'll go with that, for decades. And I don't anticipate that I'll ever wake up one morning and go, ta-da, thank goodness, or whomever, I am all put together now. I think being human, part of the awesomeness of being human, is that we have this curiosity gene. I just made that up, but it seems like it should be a true thing, that it's actually biological. And we want to know more. We want to experience more. And whether we can ever close the book on that exploration, gosh, I hope not. I really hope not. I so appreciate your vulnerability, your candor, your for those who did not choose to speak, how you held the space. For those who spoke, I hope you felt as enveloped as I was perceiving the space. That this is the place where we can have these kinds of ideas and conversations and wonderings. And I really hope that your journey continues. And for some, that might mean you choose something else. And I'll be sad, but I'll also be kind of thrilled on your behalf, because the journey continues. But stay here, really, because we love you. All right, my pages are upside down. Oh, I had so many things about the best music, which is basically the soundtrack to Flashdance. If you're wondering where all the good music went, that's where it is. So differences can divide us, right? We talk about difference in this capacity as being a really positive or potentially positive thing. But currently in the world, difference is drawing lines, right? And dividing, and in some cases, literally dividing families. And not just in sort of the we can't have Thanksgiving dinner together anymore because we argue, but like seriously dividing families. So difference is hard. It's not all unicorns and lollipops. It's not even a little bit of that. So as we talk about celebrating difference in ourselves, in our understandings, in our relationships with ourselves, because we can have relationships with ourselves, I hope we do, with one another, with those outside our circle, with those way, way, way outside our circle. We need to figure out a way, as a human species, to get into that motion. And because I glanced over there and saw Kim Diane, I'm like, it's because the center needs to be love. If the center is love, then there's not room for anything else. But making the center be love? Stay tuned for next week. I won't talk about it then, but stay tuned for next week. Oh, goodness. As Unitarian Universalists, we draw from many sources, and we make room for ambiguity and for change. We know that we will change individually, collectively, and change can be really uncomfortable, and yet we endeavor to welcome it, because we know that it matters what we believe. We cannot mouth words that are not true for us. Sometimes we get so focused on what pulls us apart when the true magic is in what keeps us together. I'm going to invite you to participate in a shared reading, and Amy will be reading part 1. This is in your gray hymnal. The words will be up front. It's at the back of the hymnal, number 657. This is a poem by the great Unitarian and later Unitarian Universalist religious educator, Sophia Lyon-Faz, which we actually have a room dedicated to her. So if you've ever wondered what the Faz room meant, it's not the Fans, it's Faz, Sophia Lyon-Faz. And you can remain seated, and if you will read with me on the italicized parts as Amy does the non-italicized.
It matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged.
Other beliefs are and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies.
Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities.
Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness.
Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction.
Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world.
Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
Making time for an offering of gifts and pledges is an act of faith. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Because we know that we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig. This is as it should be, as long as we dig and plant for those who will come after us. The offering will now be gratefully received. We began our service with the lighting of the chalice, and now we extinguish the chalice, not to quench the flame, but to return it to individual hearts, strengthened by this time spent together, so that we can share our light in the world. Please join your voices with mine. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As our service draws to an end, our service to the world is ready to begin. You'll find many opportunities for growth and service in your order of service and on our website. All are invited to stay for coffee and conversation in the Emerson Room, just through the double doors at the back of the chapel and in the lobby. Parents, don't forget to retrieve your children from Faith Development. There is a family-friendly zone at the window at the end of the room. Next Sunday at UU Amherst will be action-packed. It is our annual flower communion, followed by the spring into summer picnic. You can read all about the flower communion on the front page of our newsletter, The Forward. The short version is that everyone brings flowers and then we swap. It's a lot more refined than that, but those are the basics. Seriously, it's a very special, uniquely UU rite, and all should come. Following the service is our spring into summer picnic. Some stuff, I'm assuming food, is provided, and there are sign-up lists at the welcome desks for dishes to share. And now, please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing blessing. Don't forget to twinkle your eyes and share smiles with one another during the third verse. Remain standing for the benediction. Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. May the road rise up to greet you as you leave your past behind. I will think about you gently, and I'll hold you in my mind. Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend.
Our closing benediction comes from John O'Donohue. May you listen to your longing to be free. May the frames of your belonging be generous enough for your dreams. May you arise each day with a voice of blessing, whispering in your heart. And I would add, and once you're awake, go out and make a difference. Go in peace.